The mics are up. There we go. Yeah. And we are live. You can catch us on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, Twitch, and Kick. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll be right back with you, Howlers. We'll be right back. Howls over Baaz. I'm Jacob Casas.
It's your girl Melanie. It's Cat Baby.
And today we have a very special guest that's in the den today.
Yeah, baby.
We got Khool-Aid in the den right here. How you doing, Khool-Aid?
I'm really excited. I'm about to tear you guys apart.
You're
you guys
excited.
are all newbies that I love and adore. I see you guys putting this good energy into the world, bringing some good guests on, and a positive vibe. I love what you guys are doing.
Dang, I appreciate that.
Hell
from
yeah,
you.
not
So-
trolls. It's
Yes,
refreshing.
sir.
That's why I came.
So I've been listening to you since I was a kid, man. This is wild that you're even on here. Like, this is crazy to me.
I don't even think you're as
Like,
excited as I am. Oh my God,
crazy.
it's Khool-Aid.
I would listen to you when I was in junior high. This is crazy, man. Like, I'm just tripping out right now.
I love that, and
Yeah.
I appreciate that because
you're like
inspires me.
you're like so like to us. You were there's so many different people on the radio. Khool-Aid's always been one of the ones, the big ones to us. You know, like
I love that.
it's wild. I don't even know like.
Khool-Aid was before radio died, huh?
Before I even knew that podcast was something that I was going to like, I would listen to you guys on the radio, you particularly, and the way that you were just so cool, hence Khool-Aid. And I like seriously, like you were what would make me think like I wonder what it would be like to be on the radio, because it was back in the days when the radio was what you would use when you get
It's
ready
all
in the
we
morning. You would shower listening to the radio.
We'd get our music. We'd know what films were coming out. I mean, when I was a kid, that's what I wanted to do was be a DJ
set
on
it
Power
as your
106.
voicemail.
Yeah, I mean, you'd play record. You'd wait for your favorite song to come on because that's the only way you'd get your favorite new rola. You know, and you'd record your little mixtape
For your
I mean,
voicemail.
Yeah, for everything.
Your
For everything.
ringtone.
For what you'd bump in the car. You know, I'd fall asleep on the phone with DJs to do requests, and it's like it was a different era for radio.
Yeah.
And I still think that radio, if radio becomes radio again and it's groundbreaking versus following. Yeah, I mean, there's some people out there doing it. Like I love what Brown Bag's doing. I mean,
Oh yeah, Brown
they're-
Bag.
All of them.
they're creating roads, you know, and a different style of radio,
Yeah.
and
Using their platform to inform.
yeah,
That's important.
and constantly creatively grow and grow in a major way, like it just creatively with their content and what they do and the pride they take. Yeah, I love them.
To this day, I listen to Power 106 every day when I drop my son off at school. It comes on automatically. My son is 11 and he knows who Big Boy is. I mean, it's just part of
Well,
like
the funny thing is you grew up so embedded with, and you know, I've had this conversation too with Power 106 I mean, Big Boy's been off Power 106. That's my brother. I love him. Nobody does radio like him.
Yeah.
But it's like during that era that, you know, I was on there with like Demiza and Big Boy and Tito's Top 4 at 4. It was just, it was.
I remember
Yeah,
that.
it was
Bruh.
legacy. It was legendary. So much
Yeah.
music was broke with the Wake Up Show, with Channel Zero
guys-
and C Minus doing the rock and hip hop thing.
But
And
you guys made
And then on Sundays,
it
the
popular.
Chicano rap.
yeah,
That's what it was. That's where you'd go to.
that was
And that
my
was the
show I
only
did.
way the Chicano community would get on the radio was on Sundays
Yeah.
on Power 106.
You want to hear a cool story? There was actually even one. I'm going to tell you guys an inside story I've never told.
Ooh, really?
Exclusive on Howls Over Baaz.
Okay, so one of my fave guys on the planet, and always will be, and girls, is Art LeBeau and Jomo, who runs his stuff. And when the show was really popping, and I was really popping at the time, that era when everything was just tippity top, we were on over 50 markets nationally with the radio show and playing Chicano rap. And I went to Rainbow Room with Art LeBeau, and we were doing so good in the ratings that he was like, you know, I'm going to start incorporating rap music in my show. I'm going to play that song Akon Locked Up, and I'm going to start playing some of the Chicano rap. And I'm like, Art, there would be nothing better because to me, any doors that would open up for the movement, I never looked at it as competition. That's like all we were trying to do was open up doors for Mexican Americans to become superstars. And, I've told this story before, but within this part of the story, but within it, my boss at the time said that, cool, we're going to support you on this, but I want you to call it Latin hip hop in case there's anybody else you want to expose or put on, and you're not closing the door, which I thank God for that now, because it was like I got to be part of that early. My brother Tego and
the reggaeton
Zion
era.
Lennox and Julio Voltio, and there was some stuff that was real gangster and grimy on the reggaeton era that I loved, and then to be able to merge a lot of our Mexican American artists and to be able to merge Puerto Rico and Miami and do what we got to do with the whole Texas scene, and then to be able to include Thurston Howell, my other big bro out of New York, and like thank God that he made me do that. Just the unity of Latin culture. I was a Chicano rap fan. Like some people will be like, this was, she did this, or she pigeonholed this, or she did that, with Chicano rap. No, I was a Chicano rap fan. Chicano rap pre-existed way prior to me. I was inspired by the movement. But what I was going to tell you about Art Laboe was there was actually a time where I brought Art and Joe into Power 106, and we were this close. And then they didn't do it, which was, I think, one of the biggest mistakes they ever made, of having my show, and then Art Laboe was going to follow me on Sundays on Power. Like that would have been, and
that would have been epic.
And then a competitor picked him up like this, like once they found out he was in the
it's
streets.
because Art Laboe is like Art Laboe. Like to this day, rest in peace, Art Laboe. Your legacy continues. With Angel Baby, we met him at the back in the days.
Yeah,
I missed you by a little bit, but I'm kind of glad because when I saw you, dude, that was legit excitement. I was storing that
back
away.
In the day was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. I saw that
Shouts
it got
out
cracking.
to N-Dubs. I love that dude. He goes and he's not scared to go put it down in the streets and put together shows
and bring on new people and give them a chance.
Yes, I love him.
Giving people a chance is where we all come from, right?
Yeah, he's a good dude. I love him. He's solid.
Hey, Khool-Aid. So, I didn't know this, but you're actually not Hispanic, right?
No. Yo soy judía, but mi corazón es chicano.
So when did you become Chicana? Like, when did that all happen? Like, when did you join?
My love for the culture.
Was it the men that you were just like?
No, I think it's a culture. But
originally when I was young, it was like I like the little Creole brothers, like the little, with the fro or the. So I've always been kind of, I was my original era I got into, with. I'm a B girl from the heart. Okay. The original stuff I had got into, was like the Houdini Back in Black. I would get that album, that tape, taken away by my mom when I get in trouble. And, I was super into the KRS-One and Common when he was Common Sense. And actually one of my first gigs was Ruckus Records, and I got to work Mos Def, Big L, and one of my first real jobs where I went into a building was going and working under Rick Rubin at Deaf America and working the Chino XL, my brother, rest in peace, and the Nonce Mixtapes project. And so, like, I'm a hip-hop head. Yeah. Like, I love hip-hop. And then, it's kind of like Common Song, when he talks about the evolution of rap. Do you remember that song, I Used to Love Her?
Yeah.
Okay, so he talks about the evolution of rap, and then it's real, because then it got to the stage where, I was this teenage girl growing up in Los Angeles, and 13, and I loved DJ Quick and Second to None and AMG and all that stuff.
That's all the good shit. Like everything else is like, what the hell's going on out here? But yeah.
And I can remember going to Magic Mountain because they used to do concerts there, and they would have a little club there, and I can remember going and seeing Kid Frost live and Mellow Man Ace. And when Kid Frost was up there with his little son, Scoop, a baby Scoop DeVille at the time, I was like, he had his batting gloves on, and, I was a baseball fan, and I'm like, what is he saying? And what is it? This is hard. And, so I super fell in love with it then. But really, I got pushed toward the movement and the people by default, because when I got into radio, I didn't realize how... What's the word I can use without being a really bad reel?
Fuck it, we like bad reels.
Yeah, right.
Sometimes good.
They radio would constantly tell you, target Latinos. I've told this story too, where like my program director, one of my first ones, at my radio station in Oxnard had a picture of a Mexican girl on our console, and it'd say, "This is who you're talking to every time you crack the mic." And I knew Familia Records was out there, and I knew there were artists like Little Rob and Mr. Shadow, because I was watching that music from my original partner. I was watching that music being made too, and watching that movement go. And I'm like, how are we not playing this music, but I'm targeting these people? This makes no sense. And he would just tell me, oh, it's their cousins calling or whatever. And then when I got to Power 106, I got the same phone calls. And I did not feel right. I'm like, how are we targeting an audience that has no voice in the music? And I remember being so scared that first night we launched the show, thinking like, am I tripping? There's been a lot of Latin DJs before me. Nobody's done this. I was a new kid, just signed my dream gig on Power 106, 23 years old. Like, am I putting my street credibility on the line? Boom, phone lines lit up. And it was like, I mean, literally people crying on the phone lines because we're playing Little Rob. And I was
remember,
wow.
I actually remember that.
MC Magic.
I remember that kind of
all
going
of
down.
that.
Nasty Boy Click at the time.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's
Nasty
crazy.
Boy Records.
That's crazy thinking about all that.
Yeah.
Because I remember, like, the thing is, it wasn't cool unless you were, like, in that, the Chicano. It wasn't cool to be a Mexican rapper. Like, like they would clown, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
The way the clowning, I mean, even in the hallways. I mean, it's like, I think that's the reason I'm so close to certain people like Demiza and Big Boy, and because it was heavy. Like, I took heavy slack for, what's up, Chola? Like, and, they think it was funny, but it's like, when that's your only representation, it's not funny to me. This was my mission.
Damn.
And then I, like, stopped down to be mom and take care of my dad while he was passing, and went through my broken open moment, and went through a divorce, and went through just an awakening where it's like, okay, I'm 48 years old. My kids are teenagers. My dad is now passed away. This can't be it for me. And I was going to get back out into the podcasting space. And then as soon as I popped back out, the way the culture embraced me and the way the new artists embraced me, and just to see like dudes like Chito Ranas hitting me up in my DM, no, like, I love you.
It's because a lot of the times, Khool-Aid, like, if it weren't for you and that segment of Sundays, a lot of these rappers wouldn't have gotten to get on the radio, like Capone, like MC Magic, like a lot of people now that are known.
And Capone worked hard, and sometimes when people, I'm glad you brought that up, because I absolutely love Capone, and it's like, and even Little Rob and Mr. Shadow and Little One. Yes, we were a platform. Little One said something that touched my heart, because it was like, he made me cry. I brought him in to work with some new artists from San Diego, and he was talking about, cool, the way you like just put your hand on my shoulder and you brought me into a world I had never walked in and accepted me for who I was at the time. And you got to remember, at that time, he was that 666 devil gangster. And now he is one of the most enlightened fools you'll ever meet. And it let him, Conejo, I mean, I'm so beyond proud of them. And to see where they're at now, I'm hoping we can teach some of our younger cats to do that a little earlier. And I'm seeing that because, like, I'm seeing artists like the homie Yellow Hill, who when I was popping back out, him, Rowdy Rax, I was like, oh, these are my dudes. And I was just shouting him out as a fangirl. And it was dope because we built this beautiful relationship. And now I'm really excited. And I'm announcing it here first because it actually just happened at dinner for my new project. It's going to be 8K and Khool-Aid. There's a cat, Ocho. I don't know if you guys are familiar with 8K. But I've been watching everybody move in the streets. And ethically, he moves the best. Business-wise, he moves the best. He takes care of all of his artists. He never drops the ball on who's relevant at the time versus who's still putting in the work. And just as a human, I overall think he's amazing and brilliant. And I've been wanting to do a project with him. And Yellow Hill has been asking me for a minute, like, hey, let's work. Let's do something together. And so I said, if Ocho will do it with me, let's go. So Ocho, Yellow Hill, and I are going to do an 8K.
That is so dope.
Khool-Aid
The way you explain how he does business, that's like not common.
No.
Well, the thing is though too, like how you just like what you were doing, putting people on when they weren't putting people on. That wasn't common. And back then, that was the only way you got heard was through you guys. Like you didn't have TikTok, you didn't have none of that kind of stuff to like put yourself out there. It had to be through radio.
Okay, but here's the thing though that I started. I don't know how I diverted, but I'm glad you brought it back because there was a point I wanted to make because sometimes people get on like they're, and it like it to me, yes, I was able to be a platform. But Little One and Shadow and Capone especially, it's like you're talking about people who worked so hard in the streets and hit the pavement and built their own movements when you had to go sell out of the trunk.
I was just going to say that, buying CDs out of people's trunks.
I'm just glad I got to be a part of it with my fam and be a part of it with all of them. But I don't feel by any means, and sometimes when there were certain artists, whatever, that we didn't play that would break out or that would do their own thing, it's like we weren't, and it will never, and one source for you or anybody out there will never be the end all be all. And don't do that to yourself. Don't feel like, oh, they won't let me in, or because you don't know what's going on in somebody's lives, or you don't know what, and it's like at the end of the day, we're all responsible for our own destiny.
For sure, yeah.
And that whole genre, that whole movement, it was its own destiny and Mexican work ethic.
Yep.
Straight up.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's so true because, even with like this, like, nobody's going to stop me what the fuck I'm doing.
No.
Like, you got to put your own blood, sweat, tears, money, all that shit in it. If you
incredible what you're doing with your setup in here. I walked up at first. I ain't gonna lie. I thought I was gonna be kidnapped.
But a lot of people say that.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things I get prideful in too, because it looks crazy from the outside, but once you come inside, it's legit.
Yeah, and your vibes and you guys' energy. Like,
this is all Jacob, but it makes me proud.
Go ahead, Jacob.
Well, the thing is,
and your graphics, Jacob.
The team, I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
I just feel like you got to work hard. Like the thing is, nobody's gonna really give a shit, but it's the work you put out, and then the team you build around you. We building this team together, and I think that when you build a strong team and you guys all have the same goal, there's nothing you can stop you.
Yeah. So what's your background, Jacob?
Well, I have a business. I'm a business owner, and I started this because for entrepreneurship, for like a cheat code, like networking, all that kind of stuff. So what I ended up doing is I've been around a lot, like a lot of different things. I've done MMA, all this kind of different things. So I
fight.
I used to fight, right?
Yeah,
so
you got the ears. You got fighter ears under the headsets. Only a little bit, a little bit.
Still cool. I put safety pins on them.
Okay,
so that it would hurt like hell, but that's what made it.
But you kept your ears.
Yeah, I kept my ears. But most people could keep their ears. All they had to do is when they were sore, you had to wear ear guards. That was it. But a lot of people just didn't want to because everybody call you like you're gay for wearing ear guards,
Like a sissy, kind of.
They would clown you for wearing ear guards, but
now you got ears. That's cool.
Yeah,
though.
I still got them though.
Yeah,
still cool, but yeah. So I kind of integrated everything that I've kind of went through into the podcast.
That's dope.
So entrepreneurship, like music, all this different stuff that I enjoyed. I feel like why not integrate it?
Who are your favorite artists?
Man, so like growing up, I was like a massive Pac fan.
Okay,
like,
of course.
Huge Pac fan. Big time on Mos Def. I love Mos Def. I had all his records. Like I used to like that guy was the man. I used to love Kanye back in the day.
I got my Mos Def plaque. You'll have to come see it.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to now. That's an invite. You guys heard that, right?
Yes, that's an invite.
From Khool-Aid.
And I think she
Khool-Aid,
said that I can come too.
Absolutely.
She didn't
We're
say
all
that.
invited.
She didn't say that.
Absolutely.
No, I think you didn't hear it.
Yeah. Okay, so what's your background?
I do makeup on the side. I've
Love
done
it.
modeling. I've done promotional modeling with clothing brands, makeup brands. So I do a little bit of everything. I'm just starting to manage a comedian and artist.
Which comedian?
She's up and coming. Her name's Millie.
I love that, girl.
Yeah,
Let's
so
go.
Getting into my manager bag a little bit.
Good luck with that one.
Thank you. I know it's new, but and then I met Jacob a couple years ago, so I've been here consistently helping him manage like the talent that we get on and stuff. So,
that's dope. And then you?
So I am a mom first and a bad bitch immediately after. Boom. No. But I actually used to do OnlyFans, but I'm excited because about like 2-3 weeks ago, I just opened my S Corp to start kind of doing like business consulting in a small form at first to kind of help. I grew up, my mom used to sell fruit on Florence in LA by the metro station.
Dope.
She used to sell CDs outside the taco, trucks, and we used to go with her. Had she known the knowledge that I know now to build business credit, get your, count as another person.
Well, she did in her own way.
In her own way, but had she known what I know now, I think she would have been way better off. However, I go to TJ all the time and I see that Mexico is like a land of hustlers. We all know how to hustle. We all know how to work, but we don't know the business aspect of it. So if I can help my friends that are vendors, go to pop-up shops, that do things on their own, putting their own money into their business, if I can help them just bridge that gap of knowledge into shit that people have known for generations, and that's why they're successful, that we're lacking that knowledge. I would love to
Well,
help
you're learning,
that.
your generation learning that knowledge and bringing
Well,
it
I'm
back.
first generation Mexican American.
So you're the generation that's going to learn that and bring that back. How's your family dealing? How's your mom dealing with what's going on? How are you dealing with what's going on?
My mom's in Mexico right now, but I deal with it in a different sense because I am product of my mom crossing the border to get here and doing whatever she could. She crossed the border multiple times, one of them pregnant. She almost died just to get us here so that we can be something, so we can have an opportunity that she didn't have. If it weren't for her, like I don't know where I would be if it weren't for my mom. Yeah. So it hits a different nerve for me. Mm-hmm. I didn't even know how to speak English when I was 5. So my first language was Spanish, So it hits a different spot for me. I feel like whatever I can do to make a difference, I will do. Who would have thought, though, out of everything, that my platform would have started off of OnlyFans? And now that it's because when it hit me, though, when I got up there with that, I said, now I've been like, look at me, look at me, look at me. Now that I got everyone to look at me, now what? What do I do with that?
How do you parlay the look at me?
Well, just like, hey, hi, I'm posting things, thirst traps, link this, all this stuff. And now it's like, now I have people who actually support me. So now what am I pushing after that? Mm-hmm. Because it stopped being OnlyFans.
Well,
I saw that there was a bigger purpose for me.
Well, check out how she came on the pod. So we have these segments called Dating and Relationship Podcasts. Mm-hmm. So we have a bunch of girls, like anywhere from 6 to like 8 girls, and then a couple of the guy hosts that do it. And she came on one of the podcasts for that. And we actually were debating back and forth, going back and forth, arguing with each other and stuff. But I kind of seen like her like how she is as a person, and we would kind of like talk every once in a while back and forth, like sporadically, right? But I seen that her voice was good for how she comes across. Even if we didn't agree, I don't give a shit if people agree with me or not. It's who they are as a person. Mm-hmm. Like, and I seen, okay, like she'd be dope. Like I even told her maybe we should just have a debate thing on the pod or whatever. But then we just started talking more, and I was like, hey, just come on. You know what I mean? And that even with her, how she came on, because this is all kind of new. I had a different co-host before. She kind of came on he kind of started bringing her on. But I've always liked the way she communicates with people. It's a little different, I like, everybody has a different way of communicating. Yeah. And if we were all the same way to communicate with somebody, it wouldn't be entertaining. No. It needs to be different. Yeah. I don't need a bunch of me's on here.
So what's the ultimate goal of the pod?
Well, at the beginning, I liked, I was doing a lot of business to business, entrepreneurs, different things I'd bring on here. But my goal of this podcast, I really want to just, I'm kind of when I started really thinking about it, I started thinking, okay, this podcast is me. So all the things that I'm into, all the things that I want to do, all things that I have done, I integrate that into this. Mm-hmm. And now that these people are on here too now, and they have different ideas, different goals, I can see that. Because in business, I own a business. I've owned this business for 10 years. So I look at everything I do is based on how to run a business. I got to be tactical. I got to think. I can't just go ahead, go do whatever you want to do. Things fall apart like that.
Tactical? Are you military? Is that the grenade? Like
no, this is
were
just
you
ever
military?
No,
okay.
never military.
You seem very military-esque, right?
I kind of had no choice.
It's the green.
Yeah, it might be the green.
I kind of had no choice but to be in business because I have people working under me. So people want to walk all over you. People want to like screw you over in business. I've been through hell in business. So when I do things, I have to be very, very tactical on that. So when I see what they do, I'm like, I want to be able to give them opportunities to do whatever they want to do too. But we have to do it like very, very like organized, Mm-hmm. And I think that with this podcast, I think that we can just be entertaining. Yeah. I'm not trying to change the world, I'm not trying to do all that. If it happens in the meantime of it, cool, But I really just want to get people's messages out.
What message are you most proud of that you guys have gotten out on the pod?
What I'm most proud of is God. I like that because we had someone from The Chosen on this show,
Amen to that shit.
and it was really cool to hear his story.
I just have been getting into The Chosen. A friend got me into it, and I've just been.
So the guy that
diving
plays Big James, he came on here, and that was really cool for me because me and my kids watch it. So I was just blown away, and a lot of people are hitting me up to want to come on. 4 more people from that show want to come on the pod now, so that was really cool for me. And I really think, like, I'm just being honest. I think it'd be cool to get a lot more of, because I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of people are pushing God out of everything, and it kind of makes me want to put it back in. Like, I don't want to be embarrassed or afraid to talk about anything on this podcast.
Yeah. Well, and just in general, no matter where you're at or street credibility wise, this is a conversation Yellow Hill and I always have because, you know, he super walks with God right now. And it's like, how do you keep God authentically in
Centered.
your, if that's part of the voice you want to push, how do you push it without pushing people away? And I think it's just being real to
Honestly,
what you-
Khool-Aid, I feel like a lot of people that come on here are either entrepreneurs, artists. They're all successful. That's why they come on the show. And a lot of their struggle stories have a lot to do with faith.
Yeah, to
And
get out of it.
That's the authentic part that
Yep.
stays authentic. That no matter what's their background, no matter what their career is, no matter what they do for a living or how they got to where they're at, a lot of their struggle had to do with faith and not giving up and
Right,
doing
the comeback. The
yeah.
comeback has to do with
So
faith
some-
and something bigger to believe
And
in.
I feel like you can't force religion down people's throat because that's just gonna deter a lot of people and then kind of just, well, we're all imperfect people. As long as we have our own personal relationship with God, I feel like, and it's centered in our lives, it's gonna get us to where we want to be.
And part of our success story ends up being
Not sex
kind of
story.
low key. No, not sex story. Part of our
keep
success
that on
story.
OnlyFans.
Yes, that was my past. No, part of our success story ends up being the triumph and the whole. It's like a tiny little miracle, and we all can relate to that. I think we don't even have to try to keep that alive. It just ends up coming out.
No, and you know when you're in that low moment, and I say this all the time when I'm on things, because just if there's that one person listening, because I've been there, that's in just that low moment that you feel like life is so dark. You know, I had my friend Lisa would always tell me, I promise you, you're going to see the light. Just keep pushing.
Yeah.
And I couldn't hear that because I didn't think that there was going to be truth to that. And then now being outside and finally seeing the light again.
Now you're
it's like
outside.
you will see. Now I'm outside. A little too much at 48, doggy. I'm still claiming 48. I got 2 more weeks before I'm 49. Then damn. But it's like you will get out of that dark space. I know it feels like you won't, but I promise you keep pushing because you will get out of that dark space.
Tell us about that a little bit, if you want. Like, what was that dark time for you? Was it
The loss
divorce?
of my family, you know, the first, you know, the loss of my father, and then, you know, which was the backbone of our family, and watching my mom suffer like that, you know, and my daughter and son and nieces, because he was a great grandfather. And
Tell us about him.
he was military. He would sit on the couch and wouldn't care about anybody else except for my sisters and his grandkids and my mom. And every once in a while, he'd choose somebody who was struggling that he decided he wanted to help. And somebody who you'd be like, whoa. So I think that's a little where I get the hood in me, because he pulls somebody and you're like, whoa. I mean, Dad, this is kind of heavy. And he'd help him.
That's dope.
You know, like he's the guy who, when the kid broke into his car in the driveway, came out and took the kid's bike and held the kid's bike until the kid would come so he could talk to the kid about why he broke into his car. Like that. That was my dad.
What was his name?
Robert.
That just screams as to why you're just so amazing. I'm not just saying that because of the Khool-Aid that we grew up listening to on the radio. I'm saying that because since you've been back out into the world,
On the streets.
you have made such an impact, and you just have like a beautiful heart, and you're just in it, and you can tell it's just genuine.
It is. I love being out here, and I love the fact that I can be an influence of another side to people. And you know, life sometimes doesn't go how we want it to.
No.
You know,
And I think through that, in a way, your dad lives on. You know.
yes.
Well, tell us a little bit about what your dad meant to you.
Oh, look, you're dang. Strength, family over everything. He was very selfless. And just, taking care of him for those years was like that. My focus, that's all it was him. And then I have a son who learns differently, which now I'm like, when he was young, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? What's he going to do? Now I'm like, oh, dude, this kid's he's so brilliant. He's going to outplay
Does he have
all of
autism?
us. No, he just ADHD and he processes differently
Yes,
and he
that's me.
learns
I have
differently.
ADHD.
Yeah.
ADHD kids.
ADHD, like he's gonna
Right.
be running the world later.
Exactly, but in school, I'm sure you were that kid that
Oh,
wouldn't
God.
try,
Nah. I
that
was-
didn't want to try, that
No.
didn't want. No, you just learn differently.
Yeah.
Like you process
But
differently.
I knew the whole Batman comic book series, like inside and out type stuff.
Right, that was him. That's
Only
when
the stuff I liked. You know what I mean?
for him, the first thing was like high fashion, and I'm like, dude, you know a little too much about high fashion. Now it's a little too much politics and history, and I'm like, okay, let's not talk about this because you're about to make mommy mad. But then he teaches me things, and I'm like,
Oh, damn.
wow, yeah, he's brilliant, and he's a rock star. He's total rocker, so he's total opposite world as me, and he's gonna. Eddy Millis says that he is out of all the artists that I have in my arsenal, that he's the one.
Dang, that's
So-
crazy. She's all Eddy Millis says.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Eddy Millis says he's our number one draft pick. Don't sleep on him. So now I'm ultra proud and ready for that. But and you have a certain way you think your family's supposed to look or be, or and that's hard to kind of rebirth and get over, like, okay, this isn't the way it's going to be, and now I'm going to move on from this.
Let's
and
redirect.
Let's redirect, which is okay because now I'm finding light in that too.
So Khool-Aid.
My son has autism, so it's a little different.
Oh, you've
But
got
there's a whole community of people out
yeah,
there.
and then there's things that if you really hone that he is going to be so brilliant.
He loves the song "When I Grow Up" by NF. He loves that song,
Is
and
he
it talks
verbal?
about being he's nonverbal, which is crazy because the song talks about him being a rapper and how he's underestimated, and all of that. Like if you listen to the song, it's like, dang. I looked back when I was driving. I had always heard him play it on repeat on YouTube, but one time I was driving, and I just heard him, and I heard him play the same part of like you underestimated.
He was
me, but
telling
I'ma grow
you.
up. And I stopped and I said, Mitchell, do you want to be a rapper? I'm like, are you gonna make some, like, do you want to? And then in my head around that time, it was before I started doing any of this kind of stuff, but the more it just kind of seems like, hey, you never know, maybe I'll meet somebody one day that wants to, like, when he starts being more verbal, because the more older he
How
gets,
old
the
is
more
he?
verbal he gets. He's 13.
Okay.
So now
Good.
the older he gets, the more words he starts to use. So I mean, I'm just
Are you a
learning with
single
him.
mom?
Yes. Mhm.
You have your mom's hands on deck, or you have
Nope.
anybody?
All the way. My 15-year-old is amazing. She's amazing.
Ah.
She's amazing. If it weren't for her, dude, I don't know, but she's amazing. But also all that work that I did put into them while they were little, I was like a stay-at-home, struggling also on welfare, all kinds of. There's a story behind that, As now that they're getting older and they just have learned, they're with the shits now.
Yeah.
They're great. They kind of just all like mesh.
Is he in school with a one-on-one?
He actually goes to a great autistic only school.
I love that. And is that help you got through the district, or how'd you?
It's actually one of the only schools out where I live in Lancaster that's autism only.
And
but
it's
there's
through
no
the
high school.
district?
There's no high school, so my mission is high key to make one.
Okay, I love that.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's another thing too that I really want to help, especially the more economically challenged that don't understand their rights for their kids and their kids' education, and then there are other educations out there. Because to see my son excel like in the education that he's in right now is crazy, and if they're in the right educational setting,
Bet you
You
it's
know what I-
rewarding too.
huh?
It's rewarding, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope.
So
Who'd have thunk?
yeah.
So Khool-Aid, I get the audience wants to probably know. So are you are you dating right now? Are you dating anybody? Who's dipping in the Khool-Aid right now?
Well, if I pulled out my manifestation list, I got clowned by Brown Bag when I was on Brown Bag.
Oh, what happened?
Letty, and they clowned me because they pulled it up because I wanted a 6'2",
Okay.
and they actually said, "What, you want somebody David's height?" I said, "Yes, David or taller." Yes, David or taller, and then tatted up, strong, protective, and like, "What, you want a fool?"
Oh, you want a cholo?
Well, no, that's what they thought. And
All
then I'm
right,
like,
y'all
no,
heard that?
not exactly.
The gangsters.
Not exactly, because I wanted to know what I would date. And they're like, okay, you want a biker? I'm like, yeah, maybe a little more biker. But yeah, I got my little manifestation list, and they're
Working on it.
Well, no, there might be
You're working on it.
There might be a top prospect, but we'll see.
Oh, there you go.
But
Look.
we'll see. We'll see what God wants.
Yeah.
Is he in the entertainment industry or is what? Nah.
I mean, I'm just saying there might be.
Oh, there might be.
Yeah.
Oh,
You got
Kool-Aid,
your
that's
eye
a
on
good
somebody.
question.
What?
One of the questions we ask on the DNRs, the dating and relationship part,
Uh-huh.
is would you date someone in your same industry?
Yeah. Well, yes. It's kind of like I would need. Can you like? And it's like I'm sorry, I'm shouting them out again, but I just love them. But I like when we talked about this, Duno was like, "Hey, fool, can you imagine like her talking, just chopping it up with a normal dude? Like, you guys, come on, can you imagine me at STK with like a normal dude with like my vocab, going from freaking DJ Quick swag to freaking Little
Yeah.
Rob swag to like I don't know, like what suitcase did this girl fall out of, and being able to hang like, and she's
Yeah.
48, like."
You know what's crazy is it's different when it comes to males and females because a woman they couldn't date somebody like that because it's almost like they gotta kind of like in a sense dumb themselves down a little bit for them or like be because they're gonna be jealous. All kinds of weird stuff can happen. But a dude can date someone doesn't do anything. That's just it's a regular girl. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of different how men and females work.
I'm gonna start busting out Drex verses on our day, and he's gonna be like, "What is she doing?"
Also, I think it's the way girls are like wired because when I was in a situation,
Situationship.
like he didn't support the what I was doing.
Could
'cause,
you date a regular fool?
I don't know.
Nah, you couldn't. There's no. You could.
I don't wanna date anyone.
You're not dating right now.
I'm
No.
single and I don't even want to date right now. Fuck that.
I know dating is really.
It's different.
It's a lot.
different
You guys
now.
out
It's
here,
a lot.
Different.
Hey, people lie. People
Different.
lie. Like I don't
People
understand it. People lie. I'm so honest, and it's like people lie.
Because I know I feel like people would be lying about like what they make and all that kind of stuff. It's crazy.
Everything, whether they got
Who
whether
they
got-
are. That's the
Right,
biggest
whether
lie.
they got babies mamas, whether they got like everything.
I think girls catfish on like maybe how we look, but men will lie for like years.
They'll take that shit to the grave.
They'll pretend they are somebody different.
Literally.
right, even when you know, it's like you know what? There's nothing to me sexier than an authentic, vulnerable dude. That you know what?
Vulnerable? You want a vulnerable dude though?
Yeah, I want a little bit. Like when we're talking, when we're talking, and I'm like if I catch
Assholes
you,
suck.
if I catch you on some shit, and you're like, you know what? You're right.
Mhm.
And I screwed up versus a no.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Those-
let us deal with it
that's-
head on, homie.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that's
Those
not being
moments-
vulnerable. That's just being a man. I think.
Those moments have literally
like if
stopped
somebody
me in
says,
my
"Hey, you
tracks.
fucked up on this," yeah, I fucked up. Like,
But
I
not
did.
all men
Like,
will
that's-
admit
You guys
to it,
don't
though.
admit to it. You guys
Yeah.
will lie about it too.
Yeah,
like, no,
I used
didn't
to.
do that.
I feel like most dudes do when they're younger, but like
Yeah.
when you reach a certain age, you don't give a fuck. Yeah, I fucked up. All right, it is what it is.
Come,
Like-
just come real.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
I think
about
it's- I
you,
think it's
dude?
just
How
a
many
guy.
kids do you have? Are you
I
married?
got 2. Now I'm divorced.
Oh, you are.
I'm living
too.
the life now.
You
I'm just
are?
saying,
Oh
nah,
my God.
not really. I was. Now I'm just chilling.
How old
you
are
know
the
what I mean?
kids?
My son's 15 and my daughter's 11.
Okay, so a little. How is the co-parenting?
Cool. Now everything's good. Like we're actually really
Good.
cool.
Good for you guys.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
It was war at the first year, but after that, now it's all good. We're cool. Like we'll even like have dinner with the kids sometimes and all that kind
That's
of shit.
dope.
Like it's just chill.
That's
But there's no like romantic interest whatsoever. Like it's just cool. You know what I mean? Like
Would you have her like once you're with somebody? Would you have her kick it with like? Would you still have those dinners with your new girlfriend and the
probably
kids? and-
not. That'd be kind of weird. I'd be like, nah. You know, probably not. I mean, it's cool for what it is right now. I'm not even thinking about having a girlfriend like that kind of. That's kind of. I don't
How
know.
long? How fresh out of the divorce are you?
It's been like 4 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, the first few years, obviously, dog off the leash shit, you know.
Yeah.
And now it's just like chilling,
Okay.
you know.
I'm looking
Chilling.
forward to being single.
Well, it's my kind of chilling.
Just newly single.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to it. Just that whole part of like taking that break and just resetting. Like, who am I? Because correct me if I'm wrong.
Wrong.
A lot of behaviors that
Hella wrong. wrong.
Oh, you know what? Now I'm not even saying it anymore.
No, say it. Now we want to hear.
want to hear.
I forgot what I was gonna say. What were we talking about? What were we talking
Single.
about?
You were
Oh,
looking forward to being single.
Yeah.
I don't know. I forgot. You guys.
She's like, I hate you guys.
You were looking, what part of looking
You
forward to
guys
being
right
single are you? Just being in your bed yourself, not having to answer to nobody, not having to worry about where he's at.
Refreshing, because some of the learned behaviors that we get sometimes, like for example, I caught myself towards the end of my relationship being insecure or something, but that just wasn't the case. I'm not naturally like an insecure person.
Were you being given a reason?
I was just with someone who I didn't trust anymore.
Right.
That's what it was. So
Straight up.
I didn't want to hear that whole, oh my God, you're crazy, or oh my God, you're so insecure. No, I'm not. So I need to reset.
Yeah, that's that passive
I need
aggressive.
to get
What about
rid
you,
of
though, Khool-Aid?
any things that weren't.
What about
How you liking them streets out here? How you liking them?
Like being single?
You know, you know what it is with kids. It's like, but I like having somebody. I like having somebody to build with. I like, you know, I pride in that. I pride in family and.
Well, how long has it
strength.
been for you though, since you've been divorced?
I mean, I was going through it for about 5-6 years, but actually divorced, like a year and a half now.
Oh, okay.
So when
Something
you're in
like
a
that.
relationship, do you gender role? Or are you just like
Gender, what do you mean by
Like,
that?
are you the woman?
do you
and he's the
like to
man
serve your
type shit?
man? Do you like to like,
Yes.
cook?
Well,
serve him
I
a
want to be. I
plate?
want to.
She's like, I want to be in my
Okay.
soft
You
girl
submit to your
era.
man.
I'm not gonna wash and wear the pants at the same time. Okay. No, you know what? I try. Sometimes I try to cook. Some of my meals will be all fucked up. Some will be really good though. Some will be.
But as long as you try, the dude
try.
is already gonna be turned on.
Really?
As long as you try.
Is that the truth?
Yeah.
I love how I
Really?
make
Do you
sopitas
guys- Do you
Maruchan.
guys appreciate like the?
The trying,
I
for
will be
sure.
the most. Sometimes I think I try too hard. I will be the most trying to make you feel like a. Yeah.
My ex
especially-
used to cook like shit, but she would still try, and I would eat that shit. I'd give
Yeah.
a fuck. I
Yeah.
was like, all right, cool.
Well, and then you get to the point. You get to the point where you don't. You lose it in the relationship, and you guys aren't trying anymore. And I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that's the one thing that's kind of cool about the New World Order is being able to go back out and be like try to do better. Have a
Yeah.
new slate to do better.
Yeah.
Like hopefully you learned from what you went through and you learned from experiences.
And I think that's the key. You have to learn something from it, and in order to have that perspective, because a lot of people like can dwell in it, and then
Yeah.
it
You could just-
confines them
you
for
could-
a long time.
or
It's
by
like,
the hurt or whatever happened to you, not
Right.
see your own faults or what
Right.
could I have done better because of
Yeah.
things that had happened. And
Just
it's
learn
like-
that they just fucked up or some shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Just say it.
No, it's the truth. It's the truth. That's what we get. Like,
it takes
Yeah, no.
two. It takes two.
to an extent.
I just
Yeah,
like the
I'm
message.
like,
yeah, you're right.
She always
Talk
gets
to
mad.
a little bit.
But it takes yourself to grow. It
Right.
takes yourself to grow from every experience. And no matter what the experience is with a person, or if I know I messed up, and
Yeah.
like I'll know where I messed up. But I think sometimes people are really hard on people, and I think we need to watch our words, and I think we need to watch because I think we destroy each other with that part, because I'll be the first to be like, yeah, you know what, I messed up, but I
Yeah.
didn't know how to do A, B, or C, so I
Right.
kind of hid from it, or I didn't know how, so I didn't
Yeah.
address it, so I didn't, and I'll be the first to step up. So I think
Right.
it's more of like learning how to say what bothers us, like, okay, this is what's bothering me, and I'm afraid I'm going to do this because of this before it
Yeah.
happens.
Oh, that's a good one. Instead of just
Definitely.
saying what bothers you.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's usually what we do, right? Well,
We
like
go down this thought rabbit hole.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're like, I'm afraid, I don't want to, whatever, because of the way I feel about this, I don't want to shut down and then us not communicate. Like, how do we prevent this? And,
Yeah.
just being a little mature, a little more mature.
Well, that's
loving.
good. So what would you do different from your past relationship to now? Like, what did you? Is there anything you dramatically changed, or that's something you'd be like, okay, this
or
is what
something
I would
maybe
do
you
different?
learned. Maybe?
Just in life too, I think my health, the up and down, and I know we all deal a lot with it, like with especially in motherhood, or with that hard time, or with that getting comfortable zone, the up and down in weight. The support of
Heck yeah.
that, and the support of like teaching our kids nutrition a little more, and utilizing things that we have out there
Yeah.
medically too, that now that we have that are at our access to help us with those struggles that we've dealt with our whole life. But that part, staying on point for your significant other, always wanting, just not because you need to, but because you want to make them proud, because you want to make the person you're walking next to, not only because your personality, but because you're head high and you're doing the best you can to take care of yourself. That part, attention, not taking for granted that the person's always there, and making sure that the attention, the time in.
Because a lot of times I think too,
That's
couples.
Cool that you said that.
Yeah.
I'm still like, that's cool that she said that. She just literally said, like, pretty much, don't let yourself go.
Mhm.
Like, always care about yourself and not necessarily just what you look like, but about
Yeah,
yourself enough to care maybe
Your
about
own
what you
individuality. Like, I think that's important too. Like, not just always for your partner.
For him.
Yes,
It's always
yes,
for him.
cater to him, but you
saying.
can't forget yourself either.
Yeah.
Like it has to be a good, healthy balance.
My daughter just started dating. She's 15. She just started dating. When she met him, she would like do her hair and like brush it and like get all excited because she's about to see him. And then now when you see her, she'll be on the phone with him all day, but her hair is all fucked up. And I'm like, dude, hey, why'd you stop trying? Like, you think your man didn't like how you looked when your hair was brushed?
No, no, but those
Brush your
are real.
hair.
Those are real lessons for us. Like intentional,
Yeah.
being intentional about what we do, like, and just
Yeah.
daily.
Well, the
Definitely.
thing that caught me when you said like watch our words, because when we get comfortable, we just be talking shit.
Yeah.
Like you say shit to your spouse that you would never even say to anybody else.
Yeah.
Like passive
Like the
aggressive.
shit
You
you
think
say,
you're
yeah.
funny, or
Yeah.
you like
No,
like,
sometimes when I'm mad, I'm just evil. And
Yeah.
that sucks too.
I can
Yeah.
see. I can see that.
and
for
and then
sure.
depending on the mood they're in, they might be processing it different, or
Mhm.
they
girls can be evil though when
Yeah,
they
we
when they
can.
get mad. They
Yeah,
get
we
like
can.
it's like.
But like,
whoa.
what did you do?
Right, what did
I
you
didn't
do,
I didn't wake
fool?
up
And
mad.
most of
What
the
did you do, fool?
Most of the time we don't even know. Most
I know.
of the times we don't even
Dumbasses.
know what the fuck we did.
Oh, pues. You have to me to tell you how
know-
and why you pissed me off.
You guys said something too. You said something about not forgetting who you are. I think that was a big part of what happened to me in the darkness, is completely forgetting and losing self
Yeah.
and losing any type of. I completely forgot who I was.
Yeah.
And one of the people who pulled me out of the darkness was Concrete. And he's like, "What are you doing, Khool-Aid? Come on, there's so much to do. Come on, just get the camera rolling. I'll help you. Do whatever you need to do. Let's go." And he brought me out to one of his comedy shows. And he was like, "I want you to introduce me." And I'm like, "Nobody's going to know who I am." And he started laughing and he's like, "You're stupid." And when I got out there and it was like, there were
Nice.
certain people who did.
Yeah.
It was like, wow, I'm still kind of relevant. And
Yeah.
then to see that growth of just putting in the work the last year and being in the community again, and how much showing up and how much being out here, how much noise it makes so quickly because of all the
Yeah.
resources we have,
There's so
And
much
talk
resources.
about stepping out. The way that you have stepped out recently with all this stuff going on with ICE has been incredible.
Thank you.
On behalf of all my people, I want to say I love you so much for that. And thank you. And there's not enough people that do that for us.
Yeah.
So thank you for being that loud voice that says what some of us can't. I appreciate you.
I appreciate that. That's been
And that all goes to you as a person, like you have to keep that and cherish it because that's you. That's what makes you.
I
you.
have to be honest with you guys that like everything going on right now like kind of shut me down and put me in bed again the last couple, like, yeah, I'm doing it, I'll go out and I'm showing up at things, and then I'm it's like, I'll get criticism like, "Oh, you're just reposting." Well, what do you want me to do?
Stay
It's like
informed.
I'm reposting information that I'm sourcing
Right.
that I know or feel like is coming from a real place, from
Yeah.
people that I feel like Eric and people that I feel like are really putting out positive, important information, and just information that could create change. But it's like, what are we supposed to do? But yeah, it shut me down again. And what I'm having trouble with personally is how to continue to create, how to continue to keep doing the music and keep working with artists and be okay doing that
Yeah.
with what's going on in our streets.
Yeah.
It's really honestly, it's really tough for me. And I'm like, okay, I got to just do it. I got to go shoot a video, or I got to make a song, and I got to, I got to be able to still live and also incorporate the awareness. And how do you do
Yeah.
it together when that's so much more important than anything else we're doing?
Yeah.
Well, we can just try and keep the motion going so that when they come back, because they're coming back.
Yeah. I hope so.
They'll find things kind of,
Yeah.
Well,
normal.
Speaking of that, though, too, I wanted to ask you a question because we asked this to a lot of our guests, and I think it's kind of, it'd be interesting to hear what you have to say, because you've been in radio, you've been a personality like for a long time, and you're getting back in the game. You were married, divorced. Strip all that away, because I know even in radio, you got to be in a sense, you got to be a character too. There's a lot you have to put out, right?
Mhm.
You are married, you're divorced now, all this stuff that's happened to you. But who is Khool-Aid deep down inside? If strip all that away that happened to you of who you are, if your heart was to speak to us, what would it say of who you are?
I'm my grandma's baby. I'm my grandma, my mommy's twin. I'm love, compassion, and a smile.
The Khool-Aid smile.
Yeah, that was always my key to success. Was no matter what you're going through that day, if you have a smile on your face, then your voice sounds like you're smiling, and you can light somebody's day up who doesn't have that.
That's crazy because right now that you said that, just your voice is what's recognizable the most to me because I knew what you sounded like before I even know what you looked like.
Yeah.
So that's so crazy because
It's
right
a
now you
simple
just
formula.
heard your voice smiling.
My formula is simple. When you speak, you smile, and that's the energy that's going to go out into the world straight up.
I love
I mean, you can hear it. Okay, so like I don't even know how to
Change.
relate to this, but okay, so like I'm talking here.
Yeah.
But then it's like
See?
I'm talking.
Yeah, I
It's
just
the
heard
mic.
you smile
Like
right
even
now.
if you're having a hard day, when you crack that mic,
Mm-hmm.
I always felt like my job was to make people happy.
Yeah.
So you put that smile on, and no matter where you're at, they're gonna feel it, and it should make you happy by making somebody else feel happy. That's my joy. My joy is in giving other people opportunity, making other people happy. My Chase bank account, that's not its joy, but but it's my joy. That's my bag, especially now that I'm older.
What's next for you, Khool-Aid? What do you want? What are you doing right now? What's next? Like, what's next on the agenda?
Yeah, like what are you hoping this new project brings?
Well, some more consistency and me working faster in this new world order because they work so fast in comparison to how I used to work. And I admire the way Ocho does it, and I admire the way Ocho handles his executive function and everything he does. So utilizing my friends and my resources around me and the people who love me that want to see me win and have been there, like doing it like Echo's World, ready to do it for, Destructive Films, ready to do it for the energy and because they believe in me, making those projects that really stick and really matter together with the creators that I love.
Love
That's
that.
dope.
If you think about it, all it takes is just one good one.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and then also seeing my Mexican rappers really hold that crown and take this to the finish line, and have a real top dog movement, because right now they have the opportunity to be that, to do that. There's so much talent out there. I mean, the Yotes, I could go on for days. Rowdy. I mean, we have so much talent out here that it's incredible.
It's on the rise, and
Yeah.
I feel like the time is now. You know?
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's crazy that you're even on here. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank
for
you
real.
for having
I loved
me.
it. I loved it. It was crazy. Yeah, give the howl. Give the howl. You guys heard it here on Howls Over Baaz. She howled on us. So
Let's go, baby. Your homegirl Khool-Aid.
I love it.
our slogan
So our slogan is shed the sheep. We're going to look at that camera and say shed the sheep.
on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Shed the sheep.
Howls Over Baaz. I'm Jacob Casas.
It's Melanie.
I'm Cat Baby.
And I'm Khool-Aid.
The one and only.
Any last shout outs you want to say? Anything you want to do? How where they can find you? Anything you want to say?
You know what? I'm still learning all my social media. I suck at TikTok. I try. The kids will make me viral. They'll put up a little video, and I'll be like, how'd you do that on my page? You can catch me on the gram. The gram I finally got down, KHOOLAID, and just catch me in the street.
And
Catch
don't
me in
act
the
like you don't
real.
know who she is. Who
That's
doesn't know
Khool-Aid.
Kool-Aid?
Yeah, and Helen's mom.
We appreciate you coming on. It was badass, for real. It was dope. Appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And we are out. Peace.
Ow.